Hello everybody, X-Ray-OP here with another video. And today I have something I never really thought I would discuss on this channel, shipping. More specifically, shipping regarding Luffy. A little while ago I saw a video from a YouTuber named Killakill360. By the way, if you don't know who that is, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. Go check him out, he's awesome. And his video was about why Nami was better for Luffy than Hancock. I commented on the video and he asked me to do a video on what I think about it. Instead, I just gave him a reply saying that shipping doesn't really interest me, so, I don't care who ends up with Luffy. However, it is a very controversial topic in the One Piece community. So I decided instead of just giving my opinion, since I don't really have one, I would do a little contest. Just a way to add some variety to my channel. So welcome to Who's Luffy's True Love? Hashtag announcer voice. Now the rules are simple. I'll be going through a list of contestants and through a grading list that will be explained later on. I will be deciding which one will be the best for Luffy. Now there are a ton of girls in One Piece, so I gave them a little criteria to narrow them down. 1. Must be from One Piece. Duh, because I don't think anyone was expecting Urza Scarlet to be on the list or anything. Number 2, must be legal age at the point in the story. Now, the age of consent is varied in different areas in Japan, and it even varies here from state to state in the US, but I will be going with the mostly universal age of consent in the US, which is 18. So Rebecca and Shirahoshi will not be on the list. However, Vivi is 18 post-time skip, so she is eligible. Number 3, must be someone who is regularly discussed when it comes to Luffy's ships. So for example, Tashigi is usually paired with Zoro when it comes to shipping, so she won't make it. And number 4, they cannot be in a relationship. Keep in mind, ships like Vivi and Kozu, they're not confirmed, so she's still in. Though her and Kozu might deduct some points, more on that later, but Shaki is with Rayleigh, so she won't count. However, she also is in her 40s, even though she doesn't look like it, so people don't really ship them anyway. So now on to the contestants, which are Nami, Robin, Hancock, Vivi, and Alvida. I realize most people don't ship them, but if you forgot, in Logtown, she said that she was interested in Luffy. While that may have since changed, it's still enough to make her an exception to Rule 3. But whatever. So now for the scoring. This will be scored with 5 criteria, each that will be scored individually on a scale of 1 to 5, for a maximum of 25 points. The one with the most point at the end wins. The criteria is as follows. 1. Moments with Luffy. This is where I will take into account their most meaningful moments with Luffy. The only small moments with him that will help are those considered romantic. Now, this will go for good and bad, meaning any negative moments will affect the score. Number 2, feelings for Luffy. How strong are the girls' feelings for Luffy? They don't necessarily have to be romantic feelings, just strong feelings. Otherwise, Hancock and Alvida would be the only ones to get any points with this, though they can't get a 5 unless they're romantic feelings. Number 3, matching personalities. There are some women who are more compatible with Luffy and some that just aren't. Now, this isn't necessarily who is the most like Luffy in personality, just someone whose personality would work well with Luffy's. Number 4, time spent with Luffy. It would make sense that a strong relationship would appear with someone you've spent a lot of time with. Plus, it's a thinning criteria that will give people other than Hancock a chance. Number 5, there not being another man. Luffy shouldn't have competition. The less likely someone is to like someone else, the more of a chance Luffy has. The only additional rule is only canon material will be considered when judging. Now that that's out of the way, let's get on to the judging. Number 5, Alvida. So since she did technically have feelings for Luffy, I felt obligated to put her on the list. Plus, I just want to do at least 5 girls for some reason. But it's not so surprising that she's 5th place. The only amount of time she spent with Luffy was in the East Blue, and only for like 1 or 2 scenes each time. So time and moments are out the window. Plus, the only memorable moment between them was when Luffy punched her and sent her flying. She's a controlling, violent tyrant, so obviously she doesn't have the personality. Really, the only thing she even scored in was feelings, and you may be wondering why it's not a 5 if her feelings for him were romantic. Two things. One, she just wanted to get with Luffy. That doesn't mean she's in love with him like Hancock. Also, she goes from one moment saying she'll make him hers, then not 10 minutes later is just standing by and watching Buggy try to kill him without a care in the world. Plus, she hasn't seen him in 2 years, so she's probably over it. So yeah, 5th place.
Number 4. Vivi. Vivi has one of the same problems as Alvida. She just hasn't spent that much time with Luffy. Granted, neither has Hancock, but that comes later. So while she definitely spent a lot more time with him than Alvida did, she still only spent a saga with him, and most of it was only over a couple of weeks or so, if that. And another thing with her is her moments with Luffy that kinda shove her down. There are some awesome moments like when Luffy saves her after Crocodile drops her. There was the part when Luffy snapped her back into reality, when he makes her realize that her friends can help, they can all risk their lives together, but most of her moments are with the Straw Hats as a whole. Her camaraderie with the other Straw Hats are what made people, including me, fall in love with her. She's one of my favorite characters, period. She felt like a Straw Hat and not Luffy's potential girlfriend. Also, there are some bad moments with her. For one thing, in the Drum Island arc, she criticizes Luffy for him getting mad at people for shooting her. While her lesson on don't just solve all your problems by punching people is important for Luffy to learn, because it's how he usually solves his problems. The way she starts is by saying he isn't fit to be captain. While what she says changes based on the medium of which you see her say it, I'm going with the official manga translation, which is, "You're a failure as a captain, Luffy." Which there are Vivi haters who point out this situation, and also there's the part where she punches Luffy, which I can't blame her for, and Luffy hits her back. Which the whole, is it right for men to hit women back, that's a discussion for some other channel. But Luffy was asking for that punch, so I do not like that he hit Vivi. Granted, it changed to that moment where he said they are all friends and should risk their lives together, which was an awesome moment, but whatever. So moments are good, but the bad moments kind of knock her back. As far as personality goes, I'd say they're somewhat compatible. You know, Vivi's not as calm, cool, and collected as Robin, but she's more tolerant than Nami. She also shares Luffy's love of adventure, which definitely helps her out. And she really grows as a character and learns to love the goofy shenanigans that he does, which originally annoyed the crap out of her. However, the thing that really holds her back is the possibility of another man. Gozen. Yep, while as far as I can tell, this ship isn't confirmed, but it's very possible. So for that, she gets a 2 and kicks her out of the top 3. Speaking of which, number 3, Robin. You may be wondering why moments are so low, given she's been part of the crew since Alabasta. Well, that's the thing. While time with Luffy is definitely good, given she was with him for at least half of the pre-time skip era and half of the post-time skip. Wow, Strides have spent a lot of time apart. So time itself is at a pretty good standing. However, the thing about Robin, which has always bothered me, is that she's one of the most underutilized Straw Hats. She is by far the one that's the most quiet and keeps to themselves, well, except maybe Zoro. So that's why moments are so low. While she does have some great ones in the Enies Lobby arc, but the thing is, while I was writing the script for this, that's the only main moment I'd seen with her and Luffy. Plus, she was talking to the other Straw Hats too. Well, there were some moments when she was Miss All Sunday, but we won't count those since she was putting on an act. Well, except for the one where Luffy forces her to live, despite the fact that she doesn't want to. However, those are the only meaningful moments we've seen with her and Luffy. And with all the time she's been on the crew and around him, there should be a few more, which is why she's lower when it comes to moments than Vivi. However, her time, personality, and lack of other men are what put her on top. I've already discussed time, so let's not dwell on that. And well, the whole man thing is simple. She's never seen romantically involved with anybody. Some people ship her with Zoro, which I've never understood at all. Sure, they're both the cool introverts of the show, however, they are never around each other or interact with each other whatsoever. So yeah, no other man. One thing that's interesting is she's ranked the highest on the list when it comes to personality. This is where the whole she doesn't have to be like Luffy thing comes in, because she's not like Luffy. Luffy is excited and crazy, while Robin is always calm, cool, and collected. Well, unless you break a bunch of ancient history, that is. Hashtag give Robin more fights. She is, however, very patient. While characters like Vivi and Nami tend to get annoyed fairly easily with Luffy's impulsive behavior, Robin is almost always fine with it. Even tends to find it amusing now and then. And she isn't just like that with Luffy, but just about everyone, unlike a certain pirate empress. If a girl wants to be with Luffy, she has to be patient, kind, and an understanding person. And that's exactly what Robin is. As for feelings for Luffy, well, they're strong, but I can tell she isn't in love with him. So 3 it is. Now that we're done with 3, let's move on to number 2, Hancock. This one might be surprising to some people, and I'm gonna be honest, when I first started making this list, I thought she had it in the bag. You know, given the fact that she's the only one on this list that is truly in love with Luffy. Except maybe Alvida possibly, but whatever. So she obviously gets full 5 for feelings. Like that's just, you know, it. And her moments with Luffy may seem a little high since she doesn't have any that are as memorable as Luffy rescuing Vivi, helping Nami with Arlong, or Robin realizing she wants to live. Except for one thing. One of the most underrated scenes in the show, when Luffy finds out the truth about what's on her back. She then asks Luffy if he finds her disgusting that he knows that she was once a slave, something she had always feared her entire life, something that made her the woman she is today, always acting arrogant and pushing people away. But he tells her that he doesn't judge her for that, and that he feels sorry for her. This wakes Hancock up to the fact that some people won't judge her for what she went through, and makes her fall in love with him. A woman who has hated men her entire life, except Rayleigh and Fisher Tiger. While I won't say that it is a bigger moment than the ones with Nami and Robin, it's not too far away from them. Granted, that is the biggest moment between them. The only reason why she's higher than Robin with moments are because she has quite a few moments with him in the short amount of time that they've spent together. And given the fact that this is about who will end up with Luffy, it helps that they are romantic moments. Even if the moments are one-sided, I'll still count it. So moments are a good standing for her. But as you can see, personality and time are both extremely low. That's because, aside from Alvida, Hancock has spent the least amount of time with Luffy. Think about it. They met on the Amazon Lily arc, and only the second half of it. She spent a few days, maybe a week in a room together, which is a positive for her. But once Impel Down started, she got him in the building, said goodbye, and then didn't see him again until Marineford, where they spent so little time together. Basically, she saved him from Smoker, he hugged her and left, then she assumed it meant they were married. It didn't, but okay. And didn't see him again until he woke up about 2 weeks later. She gushed over him for a little bit. He left to go back to Marineford without her. She dropped him off on the island to train, came back 2 years later. Remember, the 3 days, 2 years special isn't canon, so it doesn't count. She picks him up from the island and drops him off at Saba Odi and hasn't seen him since. Well, except in filler episodes and Stampede, but again, non-canon material doesn't count. So while it may seem like she spent a lot of time with him, especially since she was introduced during the time the pacing issues in the anime really started to hit, she only spent maybe a couple of weeks with him at most. Now, for what really hits her score hard, the personality. You may be thinking that she handles Luffy's personality better than any girl in the series. That is true, but that's also why she is at a 2 and not a 0. She may be kind and caring around Luffy, the only problem is she's only kind and caring around Luffy. While Luffy has been a good influence on her and changed her a little bit, when we were first introduced to her, she was one of the most selfish, grumpy, spoiled, ruthless people we'd seen in this series. Well, besides some villains in the Celestial Dragons. I mean, she threw an old woman out the window just because she was annoyed. She always put herself above everyone and thought no ramifications would ever come to her because she's beautiful. Sure, Luffy's selfish and generally puts things he wants to do before what anyone else, including his crewmates, want to do. But he's at least a little humble and does in fact make sacrifices for those he cares about. Granted, it is only because she went through such childhood trauma, she just isn't willing to let people in close in order to make sure they don't find out about her past. And she isn't gonna let anyone see her as weak. That may not justify everything she does, or even most of the things she does. It's at least understandable why she is the way she is. However, the way Hancock is just isn't compatible with Luffy's personality. Luffy even said she disgusted him at first, until he found out about, her past. Unfortunately, with all this, she lost first place by that much. Oh, and speaking of which, number 1, Nami. 1 point. 1 point is what put her above Hancock. Tied for moments, lost for feelings, tied for personality, and 1 for time. Oh, and tied for no man. I didn't even discuss that with Hancock. Obviously, there's no other man. If it wasn't for the fact that she'd been with Luffy from the beginning, she would have lost. But hey, it's what it is. She has been with Luffy longer than anyone but Zoro. She joined them in the Orangetown arc, officially joined in the Arlong Park arc, stayed until Kuma split them up, and once they came back 2 years later, she was one of the only Straw Hats who was constantly with Luffy. They split for a little while during Dressrosa, but they got reunited at Zou, and she was one of the few Straw Hats to join Luffy at Whole Cake Island. They got separated for a lot of Wano, but now they're back, and that clearly puts her above everyone else when it comes to time spent with Luffy. Plus, the only other girl who comes close is Robin, and Nami just tends to spend more time with Luffy than Robin does. Robin usually does her own thing. Now, as for moments, it might be confusing as to why Hancock is tied with her, given the fact that Nami has more moments with Luffy. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this may not be the most well-researched list you'll ever see on the internet, so Nami probably deserves a higher score. But the ones I could remember while making the list are when Luffy gave her his hat and fights Arlong, then declares that they are friends after the fight, and then there's the time he saved her from Enel, but that wasn't as big. After that, Nami kind of started getting pushed to the sidelines, so the last major moment I can remember with her and Luffy was when they teamed up to take down Cracker. Though they spent a lot of time alone together in that arc, so there might be some more moments worth some praise, however none as big as the others. So definitely has more moments than Hancock, however they were big moments but they weren't romantic. I never once felt anything romantic between these two. Just a friend doing something for a friend. Granted, I did say the romance with Hancock and Luffy was one-sided, but that's still better than no romance at all. So that's why they are tied. And I'm not the least bit convinced that Nami is into Luffy at all. So while I know she cares about Luffy dearly, she can't get a 5 or even a 4. And while a lot of people ship her and Sanji, I don't see that ever happening, mainly because she finds his constant thirst for her annoying. Now for her personality. I know she's tied with Hancock, who in general has a worse personality than her. Sure, Nami's grumpy, can be arrogant, and uses her looks to her advantage, but Hancock is on another level with all those. However, Hancock is a completely different person when it comes to Luffy, which is why she got any points at all. Nami, however, is all those things no matter who she's with. While Luffy is always optimistic, he smiles almost all the time except for when someone does something to someone he cares about. He's extremely brave, granted that may have something to do with his impulsivity. While he has selfish tendencies, he's usually a pretty generous person. Nami, however, is almost the exact opposite of him. She's quick to anger at almost anything. She's probably the biggest coward on the crew besides Usopp, and she's known for putting money above almost anything. She does have her moments of genuinely being a great person, especially since her greed came from the fact that she gathered money for so many years in order to buy her town back, and normally she has a pretty calm, cool, and collected person, especially when everyone is just hanging out or doing their jobs, but she can be a pretty bratty person. Not only when Luffy's around, but Luffy's normally the person she's yelling at. While I do believe as crewmates this dynamic works, and sometimes a more serious person in a relationship helps balance out the impulsive goofball, if it weren't for the more tolerable characters like the down-to-earth kind Robin, the lovable sweet Chopper, the nice, relatable, helpful Usopp, she probably wouldn't be on the crew today. But despite all that, Nami finds herself in first place today. Congratulations, sweetheart, you are possibly the right girl for Luffy. Well, according to this list, that is. Now, I pass the question on to you guys. Who do you think Luffy will end up with at the end of the series? Are you more like me and couldn't care less? Let me know what it is and why. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you KillerKill360 for somewhat giving me this idea. Again, I'll have his channel linked into the description, go check him out. Also, I probably put more time and effort into this video than any other one I've done. So if you guys wouldn't mind, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the algorithm recommend my videos and grow my channel. Also, sharing the video can help more people find my channel, so if you guys would do that, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I can plan things out and upload more often. I'm still trying to figure things out with my channel. I'm still working on completing my avatar for future videos, so hopefully that will improve sometime soon, so it has, more emotions. And adios.